Fall is a season of gathering that brings us together with warmth and color. So whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or a special event, celebrate your friends and family with a gorgeous bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to find your reason and brighten someone's day with exclusive offers and great values on bouquets and arrangements. To order today, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
This is MuggleCast, episode 26 for February 5th, 2006. GoDaddy hosting plans are now more powerful than ever. Best of all, plans start at just $3.95 per month. And no matter what plan you choose, your site receives 24/7 maintenance and protection in the GoDaddy.com world-class data center. I use them for my personal website, AndrewSims.com, and I know that GoDaddy has some of the best affordable hosting plans online. I recommend you use them for your upcoming website or podcast, because as a MuggleCast listener, enter the code MUGGLE, that's MUGGLE, when you check out and save an additional 10% on any order. Get your piece of the internet today at GoDaddy.com. Hello everyone, and welcome to MuggleCast. I am Andrew Sims.
I'm Eric Skull.
I'm Laura Thompson.
And I'm Micah.
And that's it! 4 people this week, but this is the core group of MuggleCasters. We're not messing around. No Ben. Well, Ben, I fired Ben for last week's show. Kevin's off getting fitted for some wedding thing, and...
Ooh. His own wedding?
Kevin's getting married.
Yeah, Kevin's getting married, everyone.
Yes, Kevin is getting married. That's exactly what I was implying. Before we go anywhere else, first, let's get updated on the past week's top Harry Potter news stories with Micah Tan.
Thanks, Andrew. It was a busy week in the Harry Potter movie world. A number of casting announcements were made for the 5th film, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Evanna Lynch, the 14-year-old from Ireland who attended the open casting call for the role 3 weeks ago, beat out 15,000 other Luna Lovegood hopefuls to become everyone's favorite Ravenclaw. And it was speculated about for months, but earlier this week, WB confirmed that Imelda Staunton will play the role of the newest Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Professor Dolores Umbridge. Natalia Tena, who has starred in the BBC drama Casualty and acted in movies such as About a Boy, will play the part of Nymphadora Tonks. Additionally, Helen McCrory has been cast for the role of Bellatrix Lestrange, and George Harris will play Ministry Auror Kingsley Shacklebolt. Catherine Hunter will take on the part of the neighborly cat-loving squib, Arabella Fig. Hey, that rhymed. Finally, Michael Wildman has been cast as Mogorian, one of the centaurs from the Forbidden Forest, and Robbie Jarvis will play the part of a young James Potter, ensuring that the flashback scene from Snape's worst memory will indeed be in the 5th film. Filming for Order of the Phoenix begins February 6th. Moving to Goblet of Fire, the 4th Harry Potter movie has received 1 Oscar nomination in the category of Achievement in Art Direction for Stuart Craig, the art director, and Stephanie McMillan's, the set director, work on the blockbuster. The winners for the 78th Annual Academy Awards will be announced on March 5th. And as a celebration of children's literature, new and old, the Queen of England will host a party for her 80th birthday in Buckingham Palace Garden on June 25th. Children aged 4 to 14 can apply through CBBC's website for an invitation. There are 1,000 invitations available, allowing each child to take a friend and parent or guardian. J.K. Rowling will be one of many famous children's authors attending. The Harry Potter author has also released a list of the top 10 books she thinks all children should read. You can check that list out, which includes titles such as To Kill a Mockingbird and Catcher in the Rye, over on MuggleNet.com. That's all the news for this February 5th, 2006 edition of MuggleCast. Back to the show.
Alright, thank you, Micah.
No problem.
Micah, how's the MuggleCast News Center doing, anyway?
It's good. It actually, Jeez.
Just keep that in. No, just keep that in. Seriously, we'll just be like,
failure, right?
it's good. As Micah realizes, it's just...
I gotta think of something.
This is live to tape. If you were gonna say something like, "Well, I gotta dust it," I was gonna be like, "Okay, you used that joke 3 years ago."
Yeah.
But anyway, let's start off with a few announcements. Then we'll get into discussion of news. We got tons of stuff for you this week. First of all, come on, it's a new month, and of course, as all of you know, it's time to vote for us again at Podcast Alley. It's the one time a month that we ask. We appreciate it. Why do we ask you to vote for us? We've never been number one. We've always been losers.
We're actually going to
no one
try.
listens to this show anyway.
Yeah.
And as we briefly mentioned last week, MuggleCast t-shirts are now available on MuggleCast.com. You listen to us every week, but now here is your chance to wear us. These shirts, we have two different styles, Mike Bolt and quote-unquote squares, which is looking a lot like the Apple design. It's really cool. We all got our t-shirts. We all love them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I'm actually wearing mine right now.
Yeah, I wore
same
mine
here.
all around my town last weekend.
Nice.
Did you?
Yes, I
Were
did.
you spotted?
No, I wasn't spotted, but I did have a couple of people ask me what it was.
She was squared, Andrew.
By buying these shirts, you do support the show, which we appreciate greatly because we need a little extra cash to upgrade some of our equipment. As you heard last week, I suffered a bit. We even had some problems just before we started recording this. So we thank you for your support, and thanks to Sam and Nate at samandnate.com who helped us design these shirts and get them made up for you guys. So check them out, MuggleCast.com, and then you click on Store. You know, we're always thinking about the show. We're always considering what to add next, and we have a new idea for Editorial Segment where we're not sure of the name, we're not sure what exactly we would go into every week, but we want to cover a specific editorial on the MuggleNet editorial section of the website. So if you have any editorial ideas that really stand out to you, send them in to MuggleCast@staff.mugglenet.com and then put in the subject line editorial segment with your favorite ones. We're thinking of interviewing the people who wrote them, go in depth with them, ask them about their theories.
Provide direct links too, I would say, to the actual editorial.
Yeah, to make it easier for us, because those articles are really excellent. They're just well written. They cover. They're just great. So we want to use the ones that you guys like the best. So please send them in. Thanks for that. Now, Laura.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. For the past few months, Elysa of MuggleNet Fanfiction and myself have been working to start a charity with the intention of raising awareness and funds for the humanitarian crisis in Sudan. The situation over there is, frankly, it's sickening. Basically, there's genocide in Sudan, millions of refugees are being killed and starved, and the lack of awareness is making it harder to fix the problem. After the Holocaust, we said never again, and it's absolutely necessary that we uphold that promise. If you'd like to help us out with that, you can visit operationsudan.org. I'll be posting that link over at the fan forums and see what we can do about putting it in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome.
You guys have created an excellent website, along with the help of,
Thank you.
Behold, MuggleNet Greg.
And
The real
designed the
MuggleNet
layout
Greg.
for us.
Not the John Noe MuggleNet Greg, the real MuggleNet.
real MuggleNet Greg.
MuggleNet Greg.
Yeah, Greg was
And-
so good about it. He really has been instrumental in just making the site look great. So
And you guys have put a lot of thought into this website.
Yes,
and
it's
I was
been-
looking through it.
it's been a long time in the making.
Very good, thank you, Laura. And last but not least, with the announcements, as we said a little bit earlier, we do want to apologize for last week's show.
Really?
My computer had ran into a few problems. It just said to me last week, "Sorry, dude, I'm not helping you out." And then we were rushing to get it out because we always try to get it out Sunday night so you can have it for Monday morning. You know, get it before the week begins. So we do apologize, and of course, our number one consideration is always making sure that you guys get the show on time and with great quality. And last week we failed. So
Andrew, I think you should say it without laughing. I think it was more than quality issue as well. I think it's becoming to be content. And a lot of the complaints I read over in the fan forums were that it was less content and more inside jokes between us and John Noe and, podcast and things like that. So content. I mean, when you say that, the content's bad and we're sorry because our equipment sucks, it's also our fault, and I'd like to apologize.
I know it's our fault.
Because,
Absolutely.
we just went off topic way too many times.
Right.
We did, and I saw a lot of people upset about Emerson's Power Hour. And
well, listen, guys. let me give you a little secret. Ben is a little lenient on what goes in and what doesn't.
yeah, I noticed.
But no, really, we are dedicated to getting it out in the best that it can be, because in the end, it is all about you guys. We're just the idiots that sit here and talk to each other about Harry Potter. So we do apologize, and from now on, they will be top-notch quality.
We promise.
Always and forever.
Oh, God. Toujours per. That's on my class ring. Did you know that?
No.
Huh.
No, I didn't. I was completely unaware. Thanks for getting us off topic.
You're welcome. Let's go. Let's go back to Peter Pettigrew, this week's topic.
No. Well, first, before we get to Peter Pettigrew, there was so much news that happened over the past week. Order the Phoenixcasting, mainly.
Yeah.
And then the Black Family Tree, the little car that J.K. Rowling is donating to Book Aid International for charity. First off, we'll start with the Black Family Tree. This revealed bits of new
Just
information.
depends on how much we saw of it, really. We didn't see that much.
Right.
No, we didn't. We only saw part of it. Most notably, the Black family has relations to the Potter family and the Longbottom family.
The Weasley family, too.
Wait, Potter?
Yeah,
Wait, Potter?
I wasn't...
Yes, Potter.
Potter?
Yes, Potter.
I just stared at that for like half an hour and I didn't get the Potter. Where was that?
Arcturus is also in there, who has been rumored to be the RAB. That Arcturus that we see on the family tree, he's deceased, but a relative. That would make sense. That would make perfect sense.
Right, for his middle name.
Right. What I found interesting was on this little portion of it, we see two, what Joe, I assume, made out to be little black holes with missing names.
Yeah, where Mrs. Black blasted them off the family tree.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember in the book that would be Sirius, and then I think Andromeda, Tonks's mom.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they sounded to me like cigarette burns. That's what I kind of...
That's what they sort of look like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's that. Should we be hoping to see this entire thing before it goes on sale?
It's the question. I think you'll get it after. I don't think we'll see it all before it goes on sale.
Well, I say that because they're having a open house with all the items that will be up for auction. Now, you pay £10, I think it is. You can walk in, take a picture of that, theoretically.
But can you?
If nobody catches you.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I think it's a matter of...
But someone could jot it down.
Doing
it's
it
completely...
Doing it...
Tell them that you're an official photographer for MuggleCast.
Yeah, no, they pay thousands of dollars for their...
Well, somehow I'll get my hands on it. I mean, I got the Dumbledore's toast. I got the Fort Anglia. So
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before I...
Yeah, you have contacts.
What's sad is that you're not joking. That's the sad part.
I know. I did spend a lot of money on that toast.
Yeah, how do you think we're all getting to Vegas in July?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Micah Tan. And his
seriously, if someone took a picture of this,
Seriously?
of course we would love. Yeah, no pun intended. If someone took a picture of this and sent it to MuggleNet or even one of the other sites, this could seriously decrease the value of it because the hype won't be as big. You know what I'm saying?
You just have a copy of it saved to your desktop, you know?
Yeah.
Who cares? Well, I mean, it is the original thing. This is handwritten, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
And her signature's right there.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's definitely something that a diehard fan would love to have, but at the same time, I think the knowledge is equally as important to the fans. So if they already have a JPEG of it, then I don't think anyone's going to be too fussed for it.
I don't think they need to show the entire thing to sell it. In fact, it's best if they didn't. The real question is the people who buy it, will they want to spend all that money on it and then share it with the world, or would they want it to themselves? Whoever buys it.
I would think... I would probably... Ooh, jeez. I don't know. What would you guys... Would you keep it for yourselves? Or?
I'd wait until book 7 and then give it out.
If I spent all that money on it and it's like then everyone else can have it for free, I don't know. It's kind of... I don't know.
That's a good point. I mean, but then again, you have the original copy that Joe actually drew out, which is priceless. I mean, except for at this auction.
Yeah, but then later on you'll find like 100,000 hand-drawn, family trees on eBay, signed by JKR.
Right. So it is interesting. We look forward to seeing that being sold. The little book of 70-something words, can't remember off the top of my head. Do you guys 70, 72 words?
Don't remember.
It was in the 70s, I believe. 70 words. That never made it online. So I would think that they would tell whoever won it, look, No, just don't post it online. So,
I don't think they can do that because it's the person's property then.
I guess we'll find out.
And then also the Order of the Phoenixcasting. Of course, there were several big announcements this week. Most notably, we have our Luna. Imelda Staunton was confirmed, which we've talked about her in a previous show, but I'd just like to say I think she is perfect for the role.
She looks great. She really does.
Yep. Especially if you look at her picture over on, what is it, Internet Movie Database?
Yeah, IMDb.
That shot of her looks exactly like
IMDb
is a great site, but she just looks perfect for the part. I can't wait to see her in costume, and I just can't wait to see her acting. And then the newbie, well, the young newbie, 14-year-old Ivana Lynch from Ireland, who actually attended the open casting call, just like a billion other people, and actually made it in. Which I had found interesting because even before the open casting call, correct me if I am wrong, but Warner Brothers had narrowed it down to 5 people, correct? So what happened? Any ideas? Is Ivana that good?
She might be. Maybe they had those 5 people narrowed down as the, 5 best out of everyone they saw, but maybe none of them, fit just what they were looking for. And that excites me.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets me pumped up because I think that this girl could, if she's really that good, then she can really do a spot-on job portraying Luna. I'm really excited about that.
I just think it's interesting, but yeah, like Laura said, it is pretty exciting. And then, of course, she's had a background with the Brush of Fame. She was in the hospital for, I don't think it was mentioned.
I mean, put it this way. If you can already Google her, she's good fame material. She'll handle it well.
Yeah. Well, by fame, I meant that she had just, she had gotten Book 5 signed. She looks like a good Luna, yes?
Yeah, I think she looks pretty good.
She matches the physical features, yes? We're going for it. And then, of course, there were several other people who were cast. But there's not exactly much to say with anyone because we haven't heard much from them. Of course, they've all had some experience, but they're not like huge movie stars. Yet again, not exactly big roles, so can't expect much.
But you can, in a way.
Explain,
you can
Eric.
Still expect.
Elaborate.
There's an old adage, and it's kind of actually annoying even to me. But it says there are no small roles, there are no small roles, just small actors. What this means is basically even if you only have one line that you, as a character on stage or in a movie, you can make that simply the best line there is, and you put your heart into it, and you think, how would your character say this? And you can really establish yourself on screen. Even without words, there have been characters that are really, bold, and from a cinematographic point of view, they stand out. And so I think even though Kingsley Shacklebolt might just show up at, Privet Drive and just be standing next to Moody as he says, this is the different teacher than you've had before. Brendan Gleeson, who's obviously been with Dan Radcliffe, Kingsley might just stand there, but at the same time, you know who he is, we know who he is, and we can have fun with that.
And then, of course, on a smaller note, it sort of got overshadowed by the wonders of Luna Lovegood and Umbridge and the like, that Robbie Jarvis was going to be playing young James Potter, which tells us that, yes, Snape's bad memory would indeed be in the movie. Which is exciting, because I like seeing this stuff in the past. We haven't seen as much in the past. We haven't seen many past, you know what I mean? Like seeing,
yeah, we really haven't.
Because we're going to be seeing a younger Snape then, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that means we'll be seeing younger Marauders, younger Lily.
Everything, yeah.
Younger everybody, which is, I think they really need to capitalize on this because they cut all the past stuff out of movie 3, and the only past thing we've had is the Chamber of Secrets, thing with Tom Riddle and Hagrid, and that really didn't happen.
Well, that's
Goblet
not
of
true.
Fire,
In
too.
Goblet of Fire,
Yeah.
you had the court and everything.
Mm-hmm. But those
right.
didn't give us great looks. It
Was it just me, or when you saw that, they didn't really make everyone look younger?
No, they don't. They never try, and they didn't try this time.
Yeah. I meant as far as life at Hogwarts, by the way, when going back into the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be interesting.
Also, I wanted to mention with Robbie Jarvis cast, there were a few people who were suggesting that since Harry and James were supposed to look so alike, why didn't they just get Dan Radcliffe to portray James.
Yeah. Oh, good idea.
I don't think they look that alike, though.
No, I don't either, and that's what I wanted to point out, too, is that I think it's better that they cast somebody else entirely, because, first of all, I doubt they could make him up to look any different, and I think it'd just be weird. I think it'd be more weird than...
Yeah, it would probably look weird, but if they were on a budget or something, it might not have been a bad idea. You could easily... Come on, you got the makeup and stuff. They took a nose off of Ralph Fiennes. They can do anything.
Well, true. But look at Richard Harris in Chamber of Secrets when they made him look younger, or whatever. That he looked completely different. That actually just disproves my point. But I mean, he looked really different.
I don't know. Can you really? For some reason, I can't see Dan doing the cocky thing very well. I don't know. I'm not insulting his acting skills, but I think he does a really good job portraying the role he's in. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I've seen him in 4 movies being, so noble that I can't actually see him picking on someone.
Yeah, I also think Dan's Harry portrays more the Lily side of Harry than the James side of Harry.
Yes, I think it does.
I think in the movies. And I think that would probably create a problem if he were to do James.
Now moving on to our main discussion of the week, as promised, Peter Pettigrew. What movie?
Pettigrew.
Remus Lupin.
Ding 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 ding.
Yay!
Wait, what? You cut out. I'm sorry. What?
You lost. That's the point. Let's just inform everyone of some few basic facts. He is a unregistered animagus who can turn into a rat. He is short, balding, and plump. Peter sacrificed his right hand to renew Voldemort's body, and he bears a silver hand in replacement from his master, which of course is Lord Voldemort. Nothing is official, but he was considered at least half-blood since he was accepted as a Death Eater. And all that information is provided to us by, not the HP Lexicon, but MuggleNet's very own encyclopedia. We've been checking...
We actually used our own encyclopedia.
Yeah, wow. I was checking the lexicon this week, and then I realized, wait a second, we have all this on our website. So, that's funny. So we have a variety of questions to cover. Number 1, most importantly, what drew him to Lord Voldemort?
Lord Voldemort's power, I think, because we know that Pettigrew is... He'll definitely side up with the biggest bully on the playground. And at the time, it seemed like Voldemort definitely had the upper hand. And then, of course, his downfall to Harry, he went and hid for 12 years.
But do you think Pettigrew went right after Voldemort, or do you think Voldemort kind of sought out Pettigrew?
I think Pettigrew went for Voldemort.
Yeah.
Pettigrew had to go for Voldemort.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of making Pettigrew a secret keeper, was that Voldemort wouldn't seek him out. So I think Voldemort, or the majority of it, would have been Pettigrew going to Voldemort and saying, I have this big secret for you. And even though Pettigrew blames Voldemort and says he has ways of persuasion, Voldemort wouldn't have just gone out, on the street, picked a few people, who were on the good side and said, I'm going to make you my servants. Because he would have picked all the purebloods and stuff. So, yeah.
But he was a close friend of James. Why wouldn't Voldemort want to
that's what made him so good.
Seek out and convince those people surrounding the Potters to sort of turn against them?
Well, no, he would. But at the same time, would he just go out, again, he was their most pitiful friend. Would he just say, let's get all the... I think he would try and convert Sirius or Remus first, if he was just looking for friends of the Potters.
They said that that Pettigrew had been passing information to Voldemort a year before they died, so he probably went to Voldemort ages before he became Secret Keeper, and Voldemort, probably said, you need to become Secret Keeper, you need to do something to convince them that you should do it, and it worked.
Well, it was suggested as a joke, actually, according to Sirius.
A joke?
Yeah, he said that he suggested Peter as a joke, almost.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't remember that. Okay.
Because who would possibly suspect? But yeah.
As Micah said, they were close. Pettigrew was close friends with James, but is that an excuse for why Pettigrew went to Voldemort?
No, none of it's an excuse for what he did.
No, there's no excuse for what he did.
Just why? What made him? I mean, because he grew up in a life he was surrounded by he was with James and Sirius. He spent a lot of time with them in Hogwarts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't understand why. Why, Peter?
Because he wants to sidle up to anyone who has power.
But at the same time, I don't know. I think they definitely characterized him. In Prisoner of Azkaban, they said, they actually said it to his face. They called him the person who, would shackle up to anybody who had power and leech off them. But at the same time, there had to have been a point where Peter was then saying, my side no longer has the power. Except I don't know when that would have been. But, for him to go to Voldemort, I mean, if you're going to be with anybody who's anybody from the good side, you should be with the Potters. And that's who he was. So So Peter actually was on the best of the good side. He just still chose to go over to the bad.
But even though he was a part of that group, do you guys think that he was picked on a little bit? Like he wasn't the star of the group?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So maybe that was part of it, too. Maybe part of it was, well, look how powerful I can be by going over to Lord Voldemort's side, and look what
it's
I
entirely
can be able
possible.
To do.
I think that's...
And it's just as immature as Snape taking things out on Harry for what his father did, I've always found it extremely immature that you have people who will take things that you did when you were 14, 15 years old and hold them against you when you're an adult.
Well,
it's like everyone makes mistakes.
At the same time, James never seemed to be one to apologize, at least. His cockiness may have subsided, but I don't think Pettigrew ever got an apology or anything that he was due, because nobody, including, Sirius and Remus, felt that he was due one. And,
no, probably not.
So I think Pettigrew's turning is a slap in the face, and is a, hey, you don't appreciate me, maybe Voldemort will more, which we know is not true, but I think that's probably what it was.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that there was some of that in there, definitely. Along with the fact that he probably felt that as someone, working so close with the Potters and Dumbledore, he was at high risk to be killed. And he probably figured, if I give this information to Voldemort, then I'm on their side, and they won't hurt me, which is
I like that.
Very untrue.
He valued his own life, which was good, and not the life of the Marauders as a whole.
Now, why did Dumbledore let him become Secret Keeper? I mean, in a way you think, okay, well, it's because he's always hanging around him, around James, but could that be the full reason why?
Is it in my memory that maybe... is it just in my head that maybe Dumbledore thought that it might have been Pettigrew who was sneaking information to the Potters, and he still let them make him Secret Keeper anyway?
I don't think that he had anyone specific in mind. I know Dumbledore offered to be the Potter's Secret Keeper.
Yeah, I know that too, but see, what happened was...
I think they knew that one of their friends was betraying them.
Yeah, and so I think even though Dumbledore has been characterized as always, valuing choice and all this other stuff... Even though he kind of sat by while they made Peter the Secret Keeper, I think he probably should have objected to it.
What could he do, though? Because, the Potters were adults. He couldn't tell them what to do.
I really honestly don't know why it wasn't Dumbledore anyway, because that would have been
Because if it wasn't Dumbledore, then the Potters wouldn't have been murdered, and there would be no Harry Potter. There would be no Harry Potter
That's
series.
A good thing. No, that's a good thing. Not for the content-wise, but it's... No,
there'd be no MuggleNet, and there would be no MuggleNet.
How is it good, Eric?
Because James and Lily would be alive, and there still would be a Harry, just not the Harry we know, so...
And there'd be no story.
Yeah, but Dumbledore should have been the Secret Keeper if the Potters wanted to survive. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
Well, okay, so we understand each other.
Wasn't there talk about Sirius being it, too? But they thought that was too obvious.
They wanted to use Sirius originally.
Yeah.
But I think it was actually Sirius who suggested Pettigrew.
Yeah, it was.
Because he basically said in Prisoner of Azkaban, I as good as killed them.
Yeah, because he joked, which is what I said. He joked about choosing Peter, and then, lo and behold, Peter was the upper hand, or had the upper hand.
Why wasn't he in Slytherin? because of the way he is so self-protective.
I think it's proof that not all bad wizards are in Slytherin, because, of course, in Sorcerer's Stone, it's either Hagrid or Ron. I can't remember.
No, it's
who
both.
Told Harry
it's both.
It's both.
Which is, because...
But I think that's more of a stereotype type thing. Obviously, you have a lot of dark wizards that come from Slytherin. But I really don't think that you necessarily have to be in Slytherin to be a bad wizard.
Yeah, and what he did display bravery, even if it wasn't bravery in the good sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which is... Yeah.
And I wouldn't call him a dark wizard anyway.
No. Well, Micah is entirely correct, and also, if you think about it, even the Hufflepuffs are characterized as being bad people. You know, when they seclude themselves from Harry with the Justin Finch Fetchley thing in Chamber of Secrets, everybody
they were being loyal.
They were being snooty and you know, royal pains in the butts to Harry, and you know, they weren't being nice people, nice, accepting, generous people, which shows that there aren't any in any house, or there aren't. You know, not
it's just several
is.
factors. I mean,
being
bad is a personality thing, and of course that's one of the factors. I think that goes into your sorting, but there's other things too.
Maybe it was his choice. Maybe all the power was in Gryffindor, so he's like, I'm going to shackle up to Gryffindor. Make me Gryffindor.
So what powers did he possess? What kind of magical ability?
He's good at dealing with like things, being a rat for 13, 14 years. You know, out of his... Actually, do you guys think... Here's a good question. Do you guys think that he ever revealed himself to Percy?
No. If he did...
All those times living as him.
The surprise would have been just as big as it was with Ron. I don't see why he would. And I'm pretty sure I remember reading that he did stay in secrecy for that entire time.
Yeah, I don't think he would, really. Because as corrupt as Percy is, I don't think that he's going to be a Voldemort supporter.
I agree with that. My problem was, of course, with the Prisoner of Azkaban movie. It all happened so fast when he came out of that. You know, and he was so used to walking around like a human and stuff, it just seemed like he'd done it before or something. But that was all probably to do with just how he acted in the movie and how he was directed and everything like that. Because he was... A lot of people complained, too, when talking about Timothy Spall as Peter. They said he did it too mousy, too, not human enough. And it was almost silly watching this, like, overgrown rat type thing. But I just felt that
in the book, that's how it described him, though. That he... that even as a human, he seemed rat-like.
He was rather done well in Goblet of Fire, I felt. So it just showed... It was just a matter of what we saw in the movie.
I would agree.
So now, if Peter didn't ever reveal himself to Percy and everything like that, where was Peter in Book 5? Because he wasn't mentioned, like, at all. And even in Book 6, he was only mentioned in the very beginning. Do you remember that? With Snape and Spinner's End. But he wasn't mentioned at all the rest of the book. He wasn't even at the end of Book 5. He wasn't even in the big battle with all the Death Eaters.
I think in an interview, I can't remember specifically which one, but someone asked where he was during Book 5, and she said, "You will find out eventually."
And we didn't find out, really.
He might have been...
Which helps us so little.
Well, I mean, we didn't...
No, there's still
we
one
didn't
more
find
book.
out in Half-Blood Prince, but my thoughts on that is if they don't show up in a book, then they're not doing anything that is super important.
No, I think it's a red herring.
Either that, or they're doing something very important that we're not supposed to know about.
I just don't understand why you would avoid mentioning him. It just like is that Joe's writing style where if you don't mention someone, it's assumed that.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, no,
it's
but there is such thing as a red herring.
Yeah.
And the absence of signs is a sign.
I think she wanted to draw our attention away from a lot of things in Book 5. And in Book 6 as well, just by not mentioning the Department of Mysteries, really. I think she's trying to draw our attention away from that so she can set up,
Yeah.
the plot for Book 7.
Traditionally, the style with J.K., too, when she doesn't want to mention something, she'll still at least have it exist in the book. Like, it won't completely drop out, even though it seems like it will. It'll still be there a little bit, just enough so that when she does bring it back, we'll still remember it, such as Gilderoy Lockhart and things like that. There was the mention in I think it was Book 3, which was after Lockhart, that, Hermione said... No, it was Book 4. When Hermione was going on about how she doesn't like people for how they look, and then Ron joked Lockhart, he made that cough, Lockhart, cough, ha, Lockhart. And that was just her way. Obviously, we saw Lockhart in Book 5, which was really weird, because I just completely didn't think of that. But he's there, and he's ever present in the background.
And something that reminds me of is in, I want to say it was Book 5, when Hermione was asking Fred and George where they were getting all this money for their joke shop. One of the twins said, "Ask us no questions and we'll tell you no lies." And I think that is her attitude towards it.
I agree. The only difference is between lies and what she actually changes her mind about.
Well, I don't think she's not. I don't think she's going to lie, but I think it was definitely a present theme.
Well, yeah, but the question is, will she actually ever? Are any of the major book secrets? Do you think she actually changed her mind about? That might actually change and might actually maybe contradict a possible. See, we have to understand there are so many things that she has to finish up with Book 7. Could it be possible that maybe once she gives us this answer, this final answer, that they actually contradict one or maybe even more things that she's actually said in the past?
It's possible. I mean, when you're writing something as epic as this,
oh, of course,
there are going to be inconsistencies.
She's been writing for 15 years, hasn't she? I mean,
yeah.
And she said on her website just a couple weeks ago that she was trying to avoid, getting screwed up with the plot. But it's just going to happen, especially with a book so in depth like this. And it's already turned up so far, and parts of it have been fixed in some revisions of the books. But I think it's impossible. JoJo's great, but
But she's human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so how did he get to the Weasleys? How did Percy pick him up? Could he have gotten into a store or he was just crawling on the street?
Did it ever say? I don't think it did.
I'd be more interested in figuring out why, like, if Mr. Weasley was all like hanging around in a coffee shop and saw a rat, why he'd want to give it to his son Percy as a pet. Look, a rat. This would be a good
rat,
pet.
Cool.
Cool. It's a Muggle rat,
Well,
but
it's something we can.
Did Pettigrew intend to get into the Weasley family?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
I think we can give him that.
In Prisoner of Azkaban,
where he says
Pretty
he's
sure
shackled up to make sure that he knew the
yeah,
news.
they were like, Sirius was like, yeah, made sure that you got into a wizarding household where you could hear the news, hear if your old master had come back and all this other stuff. So I think I'm not sure that he was looking for the Weasleys specifically, but he was definitely looking for a wizarding family.
I mean, it's completely possible he could have been aiming to get into the Weasleys. And they are pretty gullible, so... Especially Mr. Weasley, with his Muggle
you think he picked up the
fascinations.
rat and started talking to it,
No,
Andrew? Was he
no,
like...
I'm saying his...
Are you an evil wizard?
I'm saying his fascination with Muggle anything. He's just fascinated with anything. The guy's like, so...
Well, he's very curious,
Yes,
and I think that if he found just a normal garden rat, that would be something he would like to have.
And since they're poor, they can't exactly afford it, so Percy gets it. It makes sense.
I guess the next thing is, why didn't he attack Harry prior to Book 3? But I think that's also already been answered in the book, too.
Yeah.
Where he needed the assurance that if he was going to act, that he needed to... Or maybe that was that about Lucius Malfoy?
No, that was about Pettigrew. He would need somewhere to go, and he doesn't want to do anything unless it directly benefits him.
Right.
It was just an added bonus.
Okay.
He wouldn't want to do it under Dumbledore's nose.
Yeah, so wait,
unless
guys.
Voldemort was back.
Now, Pettigrew really is the character in the books next to Snape who gets no love. And would you guys agree with that? Because, I mean, here he is, and he is a bad person. I will agree with that. That's been argued. He is a bad person. He's chosen all bad things, but he's really had to take the crap from the Marauders all his life. And here he goes, and he sides up with Voldemort and causes the whole series to spin out of control, but at the same time, he still gets no love. And when we did see him, the very little we did in Book 6, he was being abused by Snape, who was also abused by the Marauders. He's getting abused, and he's getting, he's this little servant-slave thing, make me tea or else type kid. He's not getting any kind of affection from either side.
Yeah, I wouldn't give him any affection.
Besides the fact that he's, only a mother could love him. What do you guys think?
Besides the fact that he betrayed his best friends to their death, why doesn't anybody love him?
Why doesn't anybody... No, really, nobody did before. He was this short little fat kid, and McGonagall never treated him properly. And
well, we don't know for sure that... We don't know for sure that no one loved him. I mean, he definitely got a lot of tough treatment, but I don't think it's an excuse at all, because... With me and my friends, we make fun of each other all the time.
I agree.
And it's just It's like, I'm not going to go and betray them.
There's a point when too much is too much, though, and they can respect that. I mean, it's just... No, I'm not giving...
but they were young people, and they weren't thinking, and they weren't expecting him to do what he did.
And believe me, I'm not saying this is completely different from the Barty Crouch Jr. thing. I'm not saying that... I wasn't going to bring it up. No, this is not saying that Wormtail deserves... everybody deserves love, but at the same time, I'm not justifying his actions. I'm just saying that, he really took a lot of crap, and it's really unfortunate that he still has to take crap with Voldemort, and he's never really going to be the good side. The bad side isn't any better than the good side. In fact, it's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you saying that Pettigrew should have gotten more love, or Wormtail should be getting more love?
I would assume it would be. I don't know. It's interesting. Just the fact that you classify them as, like, two different people. Pettigrew was... I see the character of Peter Pettigrew as being somebody who was, always not as skilled as he was able to let on, and he was satisfied with, at least, just living the life of the greats. But there was a point where I think he had to become his own person and kind of take his own, take his own path, and that was when he decided that the rap he'd been getting, maybe he could do without it if he saw himself as becoming valuable once he started getting information from the Potters, and this wasn't just about their secret keeper, this was obviously a year before. But I think there was a point where he started seeing that he was a valuable person, but not to the good side anymore, that he was starting to become valuable to somebody else, and maybe he wanted to try to see, maybe he did want to try, maybe he just wanted to give it a little dab into the dark side and see if he could actually be possibly more appreciated or more happy with himself on the bad side, which I actually think he is, probably more happy.
I just see him as sort of a pathetic person, really. Like,
well,
he'll get himself pulled in way too far. He'll get in over his head, and he won't even really have realized what he's done. I think possibly if he could look into the future and see what all was going to happen to him in the future, he probably wouldn't do what he did, but not because of, out of, love for the Potters.
I agree.
Out of,
I agree entirely.
Love for himself.
Yeah. For himself, I think, looking back, he would probably change it, not for the Potters. I agree with that.
Here's another question. Who is more trusted by Lord Voldemort? Snape or Pettigrew? And I'll start
Snape!
Okay, great. Thanks, Eric. I just like to voice my opinion here that, at this point, I think it's Snape, too. Pettigrew's too weak. Snape's got the trust and the power.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Pettigrew's got the trust, and that's it.
But I think that it's possible that Voldemort would use his followers to spy on one another. I think that...
to test loyalty?
Yeah, I think that having Pettigrew and Snape in the same house was sort of a double win for him to keep them, in line, keep them spying on each other.
That's the thing. I mean, Wormtail has shown his loyalty throughout the series to Voldemort, whereas Snape has been the one who's always been in question. So why would we all of a sudden naturally assume that it's Snape that's watching over Wormtail as opposed to the other way around?
And I like that.
Well,
that's a
I
brilliant...
think it's both ways.
It was just the way Micah just worded that. It fit exactly what I wanted to ask, and that was brilliant. That was brilliant, Micah, because I don't know. It makes it's a complete opposite. It makes sense. We should be suspecting Snape would be, the one who's being spied on, because Pettigrew has clearly said, Pettigrew. It's not a question if he's good or bad, because he is bad, and the problem is he can't be trusted by Voldemort because Voldemort chooses to value the morals of it. For Voldemort's not a moral person, but yet he realizes that Pettigrew only does what he wants out of fear instead of wanting to, and I guess he looks... Pettigrew
would leave at the drop of a hat if the opportunity came up, and it would benefit him and keep him safe.
I guess he sees that, but fear is a lot more powerful than choice. I think Voldemort would at least try and think that way, but he's not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's afraid to leave, and probably even more afraid since he's, allegedly being watched over by Snape.
And assuming that Voldemort trusts Snape, he's trusting somebody who, even if he was bad, would only want to be in it and doesn't. Snape doesn't feel compelled to have to be in it. You know, even if Snape were a bad guy, it's still a choice he makes, and I think that's interesting to observe that Snape is actually choosing to be on the bad side, whereas Peter is choosing, but also he fears for his life, and it's more... I think Peter is more likely to stay on the bad side than Snape, and yet Voldemort trusts Snape more.
Yeah, and I don't even know if weak is the right word, because somebody mentioned this before, to describe Wormtail. I don't necessarily think he's weak when you consider all the things that he's done throughout the series.
Who said that? That wasn't me, was it?
I don't remember.
Well, because I didn't say weak, I just said he wasn't as powerful.
I think when you compare him to the likes of some of the Death Eaters, he is weak. But he's a good rat. That's what he is. I mean, he's good at sneaking around and...
He really is.
He's sort of like Peeves, only more worthwhile. Just sort of like the attitude. I don't know. He's sort of annoying, but...
I find Peeves to be funny.
I find
Peeves is funny, but he's annoying. He annoys Harry.
Yeah, all his strange words and ickle and...
Yes. Yes.
I wish they had
Honey, we lad, Potter, water, lee lad, ga.
So, what is the silver hand meant for, if anyone? I see it as, like, Voldemort's reward to Pettigrew. Like, check out this silver hand. Ooh. He's a rat, exactly. He's fascinated by shiny things.
Like sewer pipes, right?
Yeah.
And cheese.
In all seriousness, I think the hand probably has some magical ability.
It's topic. Should Voldemort... what exactly is silver? Now think of this. Okay, you just brought me back. I'm not going to give you your regular hand back. I'm going to give you a silver hand back. I didn't even think Voldemort thought about it. I didn't even think it was a second thought, like, gee, you were actually a decent, friend to me. I'm going to give you a silver hand.
What's the advantage, though?
Well,
it's probably got some kind of magical ability.
It has to.
I guess more powerful spells if you have your wand in that hand.
Well, Joe said that people naturally assumed that since it was silver and silver bullets kill werewolves, that there was going to be some kind of connection there, but she sort of struck down the whole Lupin thing when she updated her site recently.
Why does nobody accept the idea that it could be the bad werewolf, that other guy?
Greyback?
I think
Greyback.
It's possible.
Whenever I mention that, everybody goes silent, and I'm like, that could be... He could just kill Greyback.
That could be his debt to Harry. I mean, paying off his whole debt, his life debt and stuff.
I don't know.
I don't know if he will kill anyone purposely, but I think that it's a definite possibility.
I wanted to say also, when Voldemort gave him a silver hand...
inadvertently cause the death of... Yeah.
It's not like Voldemort was planning ahead to have to kill a werewolf, and so he said, I'm gonna... You saved me, resurrected me, I'm gonna give you a silver hand so that you can fight off a werewolf one day. I don't think he said that. I think it was an offhand type thing. No pun intended.
I can also see it as just a way to, excite Pettigrew over nothing. He's like a child. He's easily... What's the... He's... What's the word?
Easily contented.
I was going to say gullible. He's, ooh, silver hand, and the kid's off to play with it in a non weird way.
No, we weren't thinking in a weird way. It was just a cute thing to say.
No, also I think it's a way of making sure that he remains loyal by thinking, hey, if I keep doing this kind of stuff, he'll keep giving me more stuff.
I agree.
2 silver hands instead of 1.
It's silver.
Yeah, exactly.
Soon he'll have a silver foot.
So, we've sort of talked about this in different questions, but how will he repay his debt to Harry? We just suggested, the silver hand can do it with Greyback. Any other theories? It's saving him from Voldemort in Book 7. I
want to talk about the unlinking of Voldemort's inner circle. And just how Pettigrew's going to fit into that and possibly repay his debt in the meantime. I think we characterized Pettigrew before as being the kind of person, and I think this was mostly due to Laura, the kind of person who would stumble into helping fulfill Harry's, his debt to Harry, rather just say, okay, I have to go help Harry now. I don't know that he'll necessarily say, okay, the good side is where I truly should be before he helps Harry. I don't know that that'll happen.
I could see Harry forcing him. Seriously. I could seriously see if they somehow took him prisoner, I could see Harry, like, pointing his wand at him and saying, "You will do this for me, or I will kill you."
But it's bullied him around in Prisoner of Azkaban.
But the thing is also, Harry wouldn't have to do that, too, which is the question, is what is the debt? Because Harry wouldn't have to push him around. I mean, I'm sure that would be effective and all, but I don't know how we're going to find out what exactly his debt is to Harry, because, you know, it's not going to... I don't know how Harry's going to find out, and Pettigrew is probably unaware that he even has a debt. So...
Yeah. It all depends on how debts work, if they're actually... I mean, if there's a specific span of time in which it has to be completed, or...
Or is it similar to an unbreakable vow where it has to be done? But Pettigrew's got really nothing to lose. He's not in any sort of... It sounds stupid, but he's not in any sort of relationship, or he doesn't have some reputation build up that's absolutely vital.
Which
he's
means
not trying to save the world.
You
he's
know
just
what this
Pettigrew.
means.
He's a tool.
Which means he's not going to die. Also, like, if he had like a girlfriend and a family and everybody loved him, he'd probably die following the JKR rule.
I was saying the exact opposite. That in fact he's got
he
nothing to
will die.
lose. Yeah. So why not go back?
Die.
Why not go back on this debt?
I'd like to see Pettigrew dying for Harry's cause. I would like to see Snape die for Harry's cause.
But he won't. Snape is evil.
But I would like to see, both. But Pettigrew filling his debt, it's just a question of, I don't know. He might find the courage to... I don't know that he'll stand up to Voldemort, but he did stand up to Sirius and Remus in the Shrieking Shack. There was a point where he did he not say something that was something to the effect of, he gets no respect, or something, and then it was... I mean, he said a lot of crazy things. He said a lot of crazy things, and especially like the whole, I made a better rat, and then Sirius told him that's nothing to brag about. But at the same time, I think it's just the future and how Pettigrew repays his debt, I think just depends on what he'll see as good and evil when the time comes. And I don't think he's necessarily a good person, so...
And beginning to wrap this up, what will his fate be in Book 7? There's so many different ways this could go. He could completely bail out, like I was just saying. He's got nothing to lose. Why not run off again? Or not, I'd hate to say commit suicide. I mean, with anyone it's kind of depressing, but...
I just realized something.
What's that?
He can't... Whatever he's been doing, and whatever he does, he can't be seen to the public. Because that would mean that Sirius Black was innocent if he were still alive. Whatever he does, he can't show himself to the wizard public. Do you guys agree with that?
But people...
Yeah.
Because it would create the gradual unlinking and show that...
Well, that was why they killed Bertha Jorkins at the beginning of Goblet of Fire.
Exactly. So, whatever he's been doing lately, he had to be uber top secret with it. And whatever he does in the future has to be... Maybe... I don't know, but maybe he actually has to... Maybe he'll come forward or something in the future. I don't know, but...
I think he's going to die, personally.
Maybe he will, but the fact is, that's what sucked about Book 3, was that nobody knew that Pettigrew was alive and they couldn't prove it. But if they saw Pettigrew, I mean, that alone would have some value, at least in the wizard public's understanding of what's been going on, and at least they're kind of getting to know that Dumbledore had been telling the truth the whole time.
I don't see Pettigrew really straying from Voldemort very much in the next book, and like Laura said, I think if he repays Harry at all, it's almost going to be by mistake. And if he does die, I really don't know who's going to kill him either. I mean, it could be any of the Marauders, it could be Voldemort for accidentally repaying Harry somehow, but in the end, I really think that he's a goner.
When you think about it, to quote Micah next week, someone's got to whack him off.
It was last
That's
week,
all there is
not
to
next
it.
week.
I said last week.
You said next
No,
week.
you said next
To quote
week.
Micah, next week.
We
Somebody's
record
gotta-
episodes in the future, and 26 was actually before 25,
Yeah,
and that's how it works. I think that just about wraps that discussion up. Anything else you guys want to cover?
I think we covered him pretty well.
Okay, I'm out of here. Bye. No, we still got way more to do. Andrew's Listener Challenge update for this week. I've gotten many emails from people asking questions about their segments. In case you didn't listen to episode 25, I started a brand new contest this week, starting this week, where you will create a MuggleCast segment that will go on to the show. To just touch on a couple of things here, your segment must not be any longer than 7 minutes in length. It must relate to Harry Potter in some way, shape, or form. Your segment must be turned in no later than February 18th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get us started on them now. Winners will have their segment aired on MuggleCast, as I mentioned before, and all participating hosts will win a shiny MuggleCast t-shirt. They are beautiful. They really are. I love them.
They really are nice. I really like mine.
So if anyone has any other questions, you can always email them to andrew@staff.mugglenet.com. Good luck, and we cannot wait to hear your segments. Now it's time for the Las Vegas Minutes. We haven't done one of these in a while, and then we'll wrap it all up with a fine dueling club. The reason we're only going to do these Las Vegas Minutes when we have actually something to say, and that is...
Okay, I'm going to time it.
Good.
All right, Andrew,
okay.
Go.
Space is running out for you, too. Sign up for Lumos 2006. So if you are interested in going, we are going to be there. We are going to do the live podcast. That is the final decision. There hasn't been like an official announcement through Lumos yet, but they're working on all this stuff, and we're going to post lots of information on MuggleCast.com. But please register soon if you're interested, because space is running out.
30 seconds.
Space is running out. Space is running out. So get.
Not to mention, the rates get higher the longer you wait.
And the hotels,
right now,
they only get higher.
It's $160, and sometime in May, I want to say, it jumps to $180.
Yeah.
The hotel.
Quick.
The hotels are running out too, and we really, if you think you can come, then come. Because the place is beautiful where we are all staying at and where the convention is being held.
Okay.
A huge group
I'm
of
going
MuggleNetters will
Bye.
be here.
Okay, time. It's 1 minute.
Oh, and
Wait,
you
do
are
guys
going,
actually
Eric?
Time this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
My whole. Oh yeah, my mom and sister and
That's
me.
nice. I get to meet the Skulls. And just real quick, It's funny because Eric and I just realized that we're both about 45 minutes away from Philly, so we're gonna try to meet up and record a couple of these shows together. Because I know he tends to rant a lot, so this way I can actually punch him when he starts to go off too much. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in DC in May, so we should all get together and do a group recording.
For some reason, I'm getting the image of sock 'em boppers with Andrew and Eric sitting at a cafe.
That's what I was doing, although Eric wouldn't punch back.
Punch, and my jaw comes off. And then, no, I wouldn't do that. My hands would be holding book 6 or something.
So now moving on to this week's dueling club. We had this idea where instead of deciding who we would duel beforehand, two of us would throw a name out there and then we'd compare the two. So, you guys want to try this?
Sure.
I thought it'd bring a little more excitement to the premises.
Okay.
So, me and who wants to go? Who wants to fight me?
I don't
and
know.
then we have to defend our own character.
I'm intimidated.
Nymphadora Tonks.
No, you don't get it. You have to say it at the same time as someone else.
Laura, do you have your character?
Let me think. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Petunia.
Bellatrix Lestrange.
Petunia and Bellatrix. What do we think?
Petunia and Bellatrix.
This was good. Andrew.
Who chose Petunia?
I did. She's not the ordinary. She's not the ordinary auntie, but at the same time, I think anybody battling Bellatrix, Bellatrix probably has the upper hand just because she's so more evil and more,
I was about to say, I think Bellatrix would pretty much PWN Petunia.
Micah, it's me and you now. Let me gather my thoughts here for a moment.
And I'll
Okay, gathered.
You ready?
You got one, Micah?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
All right, Andrew, Micah.
Yes.
Play safe, play fair. Okay, 3, 2,
Okay.
1, shoot.
Luna
Dobby.
Lovegood.
Luna Lovegood and Dobby.
Ooh. Well, we haven't really seen much from Dobby besides... Well, okay.
Yeah, we have.
He's relatively powerful.
He took down Lucius Malfoy.
Good, Mikey, you defend him. You said it.
Well, he's relatively powerful. We saw what he did to Lucius.
Right.
At least in the movie. I don't know.
He did it in the book, too.
Okay. And
he made him lose his hair tie.
He just seemed, once he was sort of set free, we've seen more things from him throughout the books. And we talked about this, I think, in another episode. We're not really sure exactly what type of powers that house elves possess, but based upon how he's just able to shoot his hand out and send Lucius flying down the hallway, I think he would be able to handle Luna pretty well.
Actually, I would have to agree with that, because...
What happened to defending your character?
Well, because I didn't... See, this is the thing. You don't know who you're going to put him up against.
He wasn't ready for the Dobster.
Yeah. I wasn't. I was defeated.
That's fun. We should do that again.
I don't know. Yeah. Wait, but I gotta defend Luna now. I gotta stick up for her a little bit. So...
Her father is an editor, and he can slander Dobby all he wants to. So nobody would know, even if the truth was that Dobby PWN'd Luna, nobody would know about it. Everybody read the Quibbler, and then it would be like, oh, Luna just whooped that elf's Patinsky.
I think Luna just seems too unsure about herself to really be able to fight.
But she could hear the voices and see the Thestrals.
Yes, that's because she's weird, but that doesn't suggest that she's a powerful wizard.
Weird is good. Weird is good.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it doesn't mean that...
You kind of broke out there for a second.
I didn't say she was mean. I'm just saying that she's not... That doesn't mean she's a powerful wizard.
No, it doesn't.
Why'd I pick her?
But we can assume... I don't know. I can kind of assume that she
Andrew's
is...
like, why did I pick Luna?
No, seriously, because we know that her mom used to do tests with all these really powerful spells. So her mom must not have, been too shabby at magic.
Actually, yeah. And who knows what that, I think Luna's very powerful. I think we'll see more from Luna.
We have not seen Luna as a bad person. As a bad wizard.
Why would?
Just, I don't know, there could have been an occurrence.
Oh.
So, it's completely possible that in Book 7... she ends up, making a comeback.
Now what happens if it's Luna and Dobby versus Petunia and Bellatrix?
That's too complex. I can't.
No, I think...
I think it's 2-on-1.
No, Petunia would take down Dobby for being in her hydrangea bushes. In the beginning of that. She'd be like, you left those things in my bushes, and... It's like whack-a-mole.
Okay, can we stop using that word, please?
She just...
That word is officially banned from MuggleCast.
What word?
Whack.
Banned from MuggleCast.
But it's like whack-a-mole. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go on Macromedia Fireworks or whatever. I'm going to play with it, and I'm going to come up with a game that is like whack-a-mole with Petunia with a broom, and she's running around the back. And like Aunt Marge is floating in the background.
All right, well, thank you, Eric. So, anything else you guys want to discuss this week? It was a busy news week. It definitely was. Micah, you were busy in your news center this week.
I really was. I'm going to have to read all of those names, too, that we couldn't pronounce before.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Thanks.
Well, guys, I think that does just about do it for episode 26 of MuggleCast.
One more thing.
Oh, what's that, Micah?
I wasn't the only one who came up with those questions there. Kim Parker.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
You want to talk about...
Yes.
Yeah, she did a good job with some of those questions, so we just wanted to thank her.
Oh, okay.
Because
Thanks, Kim.
They did help out with the discussion.
Kim hurt my feelings last week in the Leaky Lounge, but I won't go into that. So... No,
you just did.
I said I won't go into it.
I hurt your
gonna
feelings
magically
weekly.
Disappear from
and you're not mean to me.
So thank you, Kim. Sorry we couldn't get the pre-show out for you.
Hey!
Oh, speaking of pre-show,
Andrew.
I almost forgot. How could I forget to mention the live podcast video from New York City is now out and available for your viewing pleasure on MuggleCast.com. So definitely go and check that out. They are pretty big video files if you're a dial-up user. you're going to have to go over a friend's house or at school to watch them. But
Andrew, I heard you took a screenshot. I heard you took a screenshot of your computer uploading.
Yeah, because people are so desperate.
And then it came out
on AndrewSims.com. Yes, so many people.
But it came out a week later.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I said a few days. I didn't want to be very specific. Definitely check those out. It's a very fun video. You see us doing the podcast, and you see the crowd. Everyone's so excited. You see Eric, because Eric was like right in front of the camera. So once again, I am Andrew Sims.
I am Eric Skull.
I'm Laura Thompson.
And I'm Micah Tannenbaum.
By the way, I was just kidding earlier. I didn't fire Ben. However, I could. No, probably not. You'd probably body slam me, and then I'd be like, okay.
Ben hired you.
Ben did hire me for MuggleNet. That's true. But I hired him for MuggleCast. So he'll be back next week, hopefully. Kevin will be back, and Kieran will be back. Kieran's in London this week. He's doing something Londonish. That is unspeakable. So thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next week for episode 27. Goodbye.
Adios.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Stop,
Goodbye.
stop.
Bye. Bye now.
Listen as Laura, Eric, and Micah try to figure out how to host the show without me. We have this girl, Ivana. I don't have her full name up right now.
Lynch.
Oops. Hold on one second.
She's calling you.
I know she's calling. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second.
Get her on
Here,
the
you
show.
guys can talk. Actually, yeah, you guys can talk about her. Go ahead.
What'd you guys think of her?
I
Don't
thought it
laugh
was
at me.
fine.
I'm trying to start a conversation here.
No, they had her on when we linked to her on MuggleNet. We did that other article we found about that was supposedly about her, in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And then, so I thought that was pretty cool. Like, she's clearly a Harry Potter fan, which is good because there are some girls who would show up for the audition and not know a single thing about it, and really rip all the diehard fans / actresses off.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that there are actors in the movie who haven't read the books, so I'm...
Like good old Michael Gambon.
Thank
and
you,
Tom
Micah.
Felton, and about half the other people in it.
But you know what? They've all read it now, and that's except maybe Michael Gambon. But then that's
Wow, this is really just...
no.
This is going great, guys.
The second Andrew leaves. No,
top-notch content right here.
Okay, guys. So what about the James?
this is all going at the end, right?
Yeah, don't say anything,
guys.
Don't, I try to get conversation starters going, and you two just sit there.
Well, there's
No,
a
guy.
lot of new people here.
Yeah, guys.
We lost our leader.
What do you think about James?
I know.
The James cast.
Fearless leader, we can't do anything
Am I even
without
here
him.
He's
anymore?
busy on the phone with Ivana.
I'm not even here anymore, am I?
Well, what do you guys think of the way she looks? Like, does she look the way you imagine Luna to look, or no? Maybe, kinda. I can't hear you,
typing.
Eric. Yeah, I can hear you typing,
Well,
but
because
like-
I brought up like 100,000 points and nobody heard me.
We hear you,
I
Eric.
didn't hear it at all.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't hear anything.
Andrew, I
I'm
think when you
back.
muted me, I think that totally.
I didn't mute anyone.
Oh, well,
I muted my mic.
yeah, I think that might have muted me.
I hit the little red button on my
Well,
microphone.
I'm sorry, but your little red button is like controls me and my computer.
Andrew, I think we just took
Okay.
care of the bloopers for the end of the show. And that,
Did you?
That
Okay.
was last 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you guys talk about?
Nothing.
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
like sitting here trying to start this, and they both just sit there, and I'm like, what the hell?
You sitting ducks, you losers. Okay. Here, well, should we start that again, and then Eric can
Yes,
bring up
just
his
do
3
it
million
again.
points?
Yeah.
Okay. How did I intro Luna? I forget now. And then the other people who were cast were Natalie, Tina...
Natalia.
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 Natalia. How do you say it?
Natalia.
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 Not Natalia.
It's Natalia. No, it really is.
Natalia.
I know her personally. It's Natalia. Like Andrew said.
Natalia Tina? Kenna? Oh, forget it.
Natalia. Natalia. Have you ever seen GoldenEye?
No, Natalia Tina?
When is she playing GoldenEye?
Who cares?
No,
That's
Natalia
the question.
was
Oh.
Natalia was the Bond girl in GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. That wasn't an attack on Ben, by the way. It felt bad, but I have no problem with Ben editing the show.
I can't believe I lost this.
As I had mentioned earlier, I think the problem with last week's show was content. Actually, what we did talk about or what we didn't talk about, rather than the quality of the show. So forgive me, Ben, because he's going to listen and be like, "Oh, that hurt, Eric."
He's not going to... I'm not putting this part in. Just tell him over AIM. Seriously.
Who's editing this week?
Me.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You guys, I'm sorry, Ben, and you're not like, thank God.
Greetings, food fans. Alton Brown here to let you know my new live culinary variety show, Beyond the Eats, is coming to a town near you. So, if an evening of culinary shenanigans, including music, comedy, a messed up quiz show, and a potentially dangerous cooking demonstration sound like your idea of fun, drop by altonbrownlive.com and get your tickets now.
October 24th, Beacon Theater, part of the Lexus Event Series. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.